like we are having a broad spectrum of things in this conversation. There are some, phenomenon or phenomena, whatever, that happens in abroad here. People work so hard and they party hard. Now, I know you're very, lively and someone who connects a lot. How is Nigeria today? We have been out of the system for a while, so help us to understand. Do people party hard in Nigeria despite the economy or everything? And then how is it? Because here, people work hard and probably just to let out the steam a little bit, they also party hard. So what's the social space like that? What's it like over there? What's the social life, like in Nigeria, at least on our own generation, the 50, early 50s, late 50s bracket?
Yeah, I
Generally,
think it's a very
generally.
Yeah, I think it depends on where you are and your source of your degree, your income, your capacity, in terms of your income. I worked in Nigerian breweries for about 6 years, and I can tell you, I happen to know where all the parties happen because, again, I follow my product and I see where all this happened. In the height of austerity, you know what? Oh my God, the nation has collapsed. There is no money. Oh my God, we are going to die. You see that the clubs were filled. You could not get a seat in the clubs. I think somebody said we are the happy people. I think the curve of enjoyment also goes with the curve of mystery. When people are sad, if you sack a man today, we'll go to a club to go and drown in sorrow. If a man is happy, on his way home, he has there's a baby at home, he goes to somewhere to go and celebrate with a bottle of something. So if when we are happy, we celebrate. When we are sad, we celebrate. So you can't even, so again, the quality or the quantity of celebration is also a factor of income. But I can tell you Nigerians are celebrating when it comes to social life. But then some sector also, you will see that celebration is not, there's an equilibrium somewhere. People are balancing based on the income and the situation of the nation.
I am laughing in advance, Dr. Leke. You know why? I was still in Nigeria that year when Nigeria breweries, this conversation is not about Nigeria breweries, but just because of the social life we are talking about and the club being filled, and I have my background also in finance as well as stock market operator, an investment advisor and portfolio manager. So I was managing portfolios for people that time. And then the annual report came out, only to find out that I don't know whether it was 6 billion, it was in billions, and the profit of Nigerian breweries skyrocketed, and people were thinking the economy was bad, but their bottom line shot up. Do you remember this story? It was just all over the place, just like what you are trying to say, that in a depressed economy and where people's mood are supposed to be down, actually the consumption of alcohol just went up, and they were declaring fantastic results. They gave bonuses, gave dividends. Do you remember that period? Or has it been like
Absolutely. I mean, the social thing that we're talking about is just what it is. Just some few weeks ago, I saw on Nairametrics that Guinness declared a profit of $20 billion. Now, what is the profit of 20 billion? Sorry, is not the interesting thing, but it's the fact that company was sold to Torium last year as a loss-making company. And that for me was quite interesting to see that, look, what exactly is happening. So I said that to say, every time you see, you look around, there's always a wedding going on. There's always a burial ceremony going on. We are social people, and our culture is celebratory. All right. If your elderly ones die, you will have a party. They consider you as a non-entity when you do not bury your elderly ones properly. And it has to be done. There has to be owambe. So these are the things that are driving the socials in Nigeria. Prolos, thank God, TGIF, the bazaar are operating.
Fantastic. Let me ask this question, Doctor. We are talking about Japa. We're also talking about Japada. I mean, don't let me localize it to your domain, because you are not brought here as a management consultant or HR professional. You are brought here on the merit of your substance as a person who I know is loaded. Sir, the Japada experience, is it really happening? Are people Japadaing to establish business from your own perspective, or since you consult for and you partner, you consult for Philips and some other big, I mean, I talk to you privately, I know all of this, the biggest consulting companies, you have your hand here and there, working with them and working for them. Are people jeopardizing into the Nigerian workspace? Because when you look at people who work abroad, especially the exchange rate and what they earn abroad, and talents being recruited from abroad, Nigerian talents coming back in as expatriates, is that happening? Or they just come back and then they are going into the investment space, like maybe private entrepreneurs or SMEs or startups?
All right. So, as somebody with a researcher, and I will tell you that it's good, it's better to talk in numbers, but I cannot talk because I've not done a proper research on this. But from my own small world view, this is what I see. I'll say for every, our Pareto it, for every 100 that jackpass, there is a 20 that jackpada. And I said that to say this. There's a 20 that jackpada. Those that jackpada, they come for different reasons. Some is family ties. You are the first daughter in the family, all the lands of the family, all the properties of the family, everybody else is away. Sometimes some of those people come back. And there are some that I've met recently who are professionals, doctors. They say, you know what? I'm coming back to Nigeria to start a real estate company. I'm coming back to Nigeria to start something which they cannot easily do over there. And by the way, if you convert $1 million to Naira, you know what we're talking about. Right. All right, so it's easy. There are some people that come back. Nigeria is bad, but there are some instances where Nigeria is absolutely investable in terms of what you can do when you know what to do. All right, so there's spaces there, just like the Indian man that goes to an island. He got there, two of them got there. One says, people here don't have shoes, let us go. Another person got there and said, people here don't have shoes, import shoes. So if you see the opportunity, you might just know that, look, you know what? There's something in Nigeria. And then when it comes to racism and some of these things, some people cannot stand it and say, you know what? I can't be a second-class citizen in a country when I'm for all that I am. Some people like that come back.
Right. So do we have some of these returnees being recruited in the workspace? Are they being hired locally, or you are not seeing that happening?
I've seen people that jackpada who are hired personally that I've seen.
What about the remuneration? How does that, I'm looking at the gap that might be between, are they being offered maybe something that the equivalent of dollar earnings, especially because of are they being hired like expatriates?
Let's not get ourselves ahead of ourselves. Again, like I said before, people jackpada for different reasons. It will be tough to find those who jackpada. You are earning $250,000 and you will earn that in Nigeria. That's tough. But there are people who jackpada not for the money. They say, you know what? I want to make impact. I want to transform lives. You see, I read a book recently about psychology of money. There's a point you get to in life where you say, you know what? Enough is enough. I know I've hit the bar. I have investment here, investment there. You know what? I want to operate people's eyes. I want to operate people's legs. I don't know. There are people who get to that level, in life, and they say, you know what? I want to give back to my society. So those kind of people, it will not be the dollars that brought them back. Of course, there are people who come back and they negotiate for salary. Say, you know what? The space has also been created because, again, when people jackpot, spaces were created. There were people that came back and negotiated very well to say, you know what? I collect $50,000 over there, and they say, you know what? We have to pay this money. Great. There are occasions like that also.
Awesome. How do I approach this now? I know that you have a very good background in music as well. You're a musicologist, and I can say so. I'm going to ask an investment question here and business question, but the music will get into it, and then we move a little bit to where the music is being used both in the social and religious space. Now, people do say that Nigerians, they will not miss your parties, they can help you to celebrate, but they don't do business together, that people don't engage in partnerships, that we usually go solo, and that's why most of our businesses die within the first 5 years. And most times, most businesses die with, the people who start them. That we don't have this generational thing of passing, wealth and riches and businesses down the generations, our generations. Now, if Nigerians they don't do big business together, they don't partner together, and most of our businesses are one man owned, even though they are corporate organizations. I remember way back, this is 2025, right? Exactly 30 years ago. You and I, as young guys in 1995, during our undergraduate years, we started a business together. If you remember, with your brother. And we also brought another guy in because of different skills and specializations. We started a music business together that year. Of course, it was my brainchild. And I felt like, okay, I can't do this alone. Let me bring other people in who are better than me in certain departments. And you and your brother, you jumped in. So I'm trying to tie that together right now. Even being a management consultant, doing what do you call it now, business plans for people and establishing companies, helping them and supporting from beginning end to end. What can you say? Is it true that Nigerians don't do business together? Is it true that they don't do big business together? Is it true that our people are partnership allergic? What exactly is your perception? And I mean, take it away.
I think that's a very, very interesting question. And I don't have all the facts, but from where I am right now and from the little that I've seen, I'll say that it can be seen that our people are not very quick at starting joint ventures, co-creating businesses and all of that. But I'll also say that that is wrong. If you look at our entertainment industry, when some of our comedians come up, you will see them supporting each other. Funke Akindele, Jennifer, they are collaborating. So it is a possibility. In the music industry, they don't do it alone. Some of these people are working together and they are building big things together. They are transforming the landscape. Funke Akindele is on our way to 2 billion naira. That's unprecedented, and I'm very sure she's not doing it alone. You can see Kamal is supporting her, Badmos is supporting her. Everybody's jumping on the bandwagon. This is what I'll say. I think we have not been business smart, in this part of the world when we're coming to do business. When we're doing business, it is very important that we bring consultants to help us to construct these businesses in such a way that it is watertight, and that we can't have that place for egocentric people who say, okay, you know what, we're now doing billions. Everybody's, they say in Yoruba, meaning it is money that destroys the glue that connects friendship. And if it is watertight, we have documented properly. We've done corporate governance. We have lawyers who have signed. Look at Mercy Shinwo and our manager. That case is troubling because there were contracts that we were not following. We are creating another contract that is kangaroo contract somewhere. If we have things that were done up front, look at the Olamide and Ashake. I'm sorry to use that example. From the beginning, Olamide said, look, you know what? Take this contract, go away. Go and meet lawyers. Let them study it before you come to me. Don't let us sign this in a rush. So I said that to say we can do big businesses. You are doing cement, I am doing manufacturing. You are building a car, I am building motorcycle. Okay, look, let us make, because again, small fires don't burn down a forest. But when you bring down your own technology to my own manufacturing, we can do bigger things. And that's why we don't see a lot of big businesses in Africa or in Nigeria as a case study. But if you bring in your $10 million, I bring in my brainchild, I bring all of that, we watertight, and we develop an MOU that is standard. Our children cannot come up tomorrow and people will be misinterpreting what the originality of the ideas are. The Warren Buffetts of this world are they are business partners, and they've done businesses for years that you can't even begin to break things.
Wow.
So that is usually the problem. We start small, but we think we're going to die small. And then when it becomes big, we're sending African magic to go and kill each other. It's not needed.
Wow, great. So do I exploit the music man in you? You are one of the most brutal, let me use Nigerian English, most brutal instrumentalists I've ever done in my life. And that's one of the reasons why we collaborated with our music company that we started when we were just in our, very early ages, maybe early 20s, that period. And when you look at, I'm happy that you are able to talk to the issues in the music space. Now, when you look at the church music space, because those days, maybe you say that people are doing it for I mean, it was, if gospel was gospel. So right now, gospel music, there's a difference between that and gospel business. Uh, do you have your thoughts on that aspect? You know, you brought in the Mercy Chinwo angle right now. Are people doing it for God or for themselves, or how did we get here? Is it gospel music or church music? Is there anything like that? Is there, and then is it should it be seen as business? What's your take?
Thank
Sorry,
you very much.
is it
And
is it
yes,
gospel music ministry or gospel music industry?
it doesn't even matter what we call these things. And this is where my own take is. I'm somebody who loves music. I play keyboards very well. To this very day, I play keyboards in my church. I used to play saxophone, but I don't have
Bass,
that time
guitar,
again.
drums.
I used to play bass. I used to play drums. Till today, if I'm scrolling and I see music, I stop. Because I listen to music in 16 channels in my brain. I don't know why that is. I'm
I
from
saw
a
the one
music
you posted
family.
yesterday evening.
My brain, my music does something to me. So, but then let's go back in 1997, 1998, Lagbaja was the thing then. Lagbaja came to our campus and he said something about the music of business and the business of music. It was a lecture they came to deliver. And I'll never forget. Can you even imagine what's even interesting? I was not in that lecture, but somebody that attended that lecture sat down with me and told me everything that Lagbaja said. And this is where I'm bringing my point from. You see, whether we call it gospel music or gospel industry, the nomenclature doesn't matter to me. When somebody is a professional, all right, I thank God for the likes of Nathaniel Bassey, who does gospel 100% and is not charging anybody. And today you can see his result is there. He has global recognition. But those who want to play this professionally say, you know what, this is my music. Be business about it. All right, be business-like about it. Now, what I mean by be business-like about it is this. For God's sake, if you are a gospel artist and just for the love of music, you started your music and it's a business empire, these things become a problem when you begin to see streamings, you begin to see they're calling them for, they're closing down O2 Arena, dollars are coming in. That's when we started in the name of God, but no, money has entered. Before money begins to enter, can we please, I go back to documentation. Don't let us just say Jesus is Lord and slap each other, high five and speak in tongues and we say we're in business. We're not in business. We will get into troubles. When it is still you and I, Nigeria Limited, in the corner of our parish, let us go and document something. This is who we are. This is what we do. This is how we shall share. Let us be visionary. Let us have vision. We are not known yet, but in case we are known, look at, I'm sorry to use the example of P Square. They were twins, born by the same mother, the same womb. But guess what? The thing grew to the point where they couldn't manage. Oh, no, this is mine, that is yours. How much more that you met in the same church?
Let me interject here. Do you think those guys are playing to the gallery for publicity and to drive, traffic to their business?
I totally doubt it. I think there's a serious problem. It's a real problem. Money became the problem and they just couldn't manage it. Of course, there were other things, relationships and all of that.
Awesome.
But again, it comes down to documentation.
I agree with you. I even put a video out on that my advice for instrumentalists. I have two different parts to it. And even though we have not spoken about it, that's exactly my opinion. We have people think we don't have music industry in Nigeria. We have music industry, but it is informal. So like what you are saying, things have to be documented. There has to be paperwork. There has to be understanding. That leads me to the social media space. I'm taking you back there right now.